It's the Go Home Raw, the Royal Rumble in the Alamo Dome is this Saturday, and they trotted out all the legends and Road Dogg. I wish that Bullet Bob had pulled out that very night, but we got an angle instead of a cage match and 4 matches on a 3-hour wrestling show. Yeah. Well, let's get to it. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw. Raw is 30. Raw XXX. X gonna give it to you. XXX. Boy, that's a goddamn callback, isn't it? Back to when NWA TNA/TNA actually drew people and ratings. Nevertheless, this isn't about TNA. This is about WWE Raw. It's 30 years of Raw. Well, 30 years and 12 days, because technically January 11th would have been the actual 30-year anniversary, but nevertheless. Okay, there were fun times on this show, and I gotta be perfectly honest, while it wasn't as much of a train wreck as Raw 25 was, no announcers fell asleep during the show. I mean, let's be honest though, they didn't give JR and King really that much to do. We got a few moments where I'm just like, okay, what the hell are they doing? The Royal Rumble, 30 men, 30 women, all human centipede together. It's gonna be very, very uncomfortable. They're gonna be dancing cheek to cheek. They're going to be tearing each other's cheeks out. I don't know what I'm on about anymore. I'm still kind of mourning the fact that we had to put down our longest living family dog a few days ago. So I apologize if I'm a little bit out there. That being said, let's get to the show. So I am a real American. Fight for the whites of every man. I am a real American. Fight for the Reichs. Fight for the whites. Yes, it's Hulk Hogan. Jimmy Hart is 80 years old or approaching 80 years old and still has the energy that he had back in 1983, and I don't understand it. I love Jimmy Hart. Hogan came out and his mic just wanted to give up. Hulk Hogan, who is apparently getting into Scientology, possibly. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting. The most bullshit religion, of all of them, and that's saying something. But yeah, he does his usual bullshit. 30 years of Raw, all that and whatever. Let's get to the actual show. David Guetta or however it is, and Bebe Rexha, whoever the hell she is, they need to be sent to the goddamn gulag for I'm Good, that rendition of Blue. That is a terrible song. How dare you? How dare you? How fucking dare you? Not that Blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-die, da-bee-da-da-da-ba-dee-da-ba-die, I'm screwing up the lyrics, was ever exactly a classic, but good goddamn grief, they somehow made the song worse. Who is Bebe, BB, it's like Morse code. Who the hell is that? Send him to the gulag. Send everybody that did that song to the goddamn gulag. Why not? And immediately after that, Hulk Hogan was, had flashbacks to a pay-per-view he was on that was sponsored by Snickers. No, Hulk, Snickers. No, Hulk, get away from the trailer. Oh, he's doing it again. Cut a check, somebody. Let's just push him off TV. Okay, the bloodline is in your city. And it's the trial of Sami Zayn. I will say this was one of the few big highlights of the show. They gave this a lot of time. So much so that a match apparently had to be reportedly cut. Reportedly. Depending on rumor, innuendo, and inherendo. They popped big for Zayn. ECW chants for Heyman. And he immediately knocked Sami and then said ECW died 22 years ago. Let's be perfectly honest. ECW did a lot of good things as far as, the talent they present and everything and giving people a platform. It was also going to flame out, even if they didn't have bankruptcy issues, even if they weren't horribly in debt. Would ECW have still survived past 2005? Probably not. So, Heyman just being brilliant here. He calls Sammy a Judas. He mentions the Eagles and how they're going to get destroyed by Brock Purdy. You got a purty mouth. Philadelphia versus San Francisco is going to be a very interesting NFC Championship game. Yes, I keep up enough on the NFL to know that it certainly exists. So he presents 4 pieces of footage from August 22nd, 29th, War Games, and December 23rd. The December 23rd one, right before, him and, when Sammy's getting all fired up and everything, and then he brushed up against Roman. That's assaulting the tribal chief. Zayn says, you know what? I have no defense. That's basically it. Roman's upset. You don't want to fight for this. I let you in here. I did all that. Solo, start thumbing him. So I'll thumb him, and Solo's thinking, haha, I'm not going to change my expression, but I'll do this. And then Jay stops him. Jay, stopping the drive-by. I really should have rethought that, but moving on. He stopped him for spiking him. Says, I put together my own footage. What is this footage? From June 3rd, when he basically helped the Usos retain against RK Bro. When he played the music to distract. Well, actually, was it RK Bro or was it just Riddle? I think it might have just been Riddle. I'm trying to think, actually. August 19th, took the kick when Drew was attacking Roman. September 9th, took a chair instead of one of the Usos taking a chair. And then December 9th, basically he just kept doing all this stuff. The War Games thing, he hit the referee. But he didn't hit the referee. He low blowed and did all the stuff that he's done. The crowd's popping. And Sammy's in tears, Jay's in tears. They're acting their goddamn asses off. It went long, but this was good. I will say that much. They should have cut a couple legend segments to basically make up the time, but nevertheless. You always saw the good of me the whole time. This is rom-com, early 2000s dialogue, but it's working. And then Sammy and Jay, they're doubles on the verge of tears. And it says, okay, I find you, Sami Zayn, not guilty. Roman says, for now. And Jay bought you some time. You're going to do what you wanted. You're going to help out the bloodline today. I don't want to see you till Saturday. So we won't see him on SmackDown. That's fine. That's just 24 hours before the Royal Rumble. Boy, that really was sloppy. And I will see you Saturday, where you will pass or fail the ultimate test. It's basically going to be that he's going to have to destroy Owens to earn respect, and then they're going to destroy Sammy, which is then going to lead to Sammy having to try to get Owens back on his side. I will say that this is one of the best segments they've done. Granted, the storyline's still gone on a little bit too long for me. Some of it's gotten repetitive, but you know what? I'll say they hit a high point here. Can't argue with it. But then the Usos with Zayn took on Judgment Day. Priest and Dominic with Rhea and Balor. Raw tag titles, and I wrote down, if Dominic wins, I swear I'm going to hurl my TV out the window. Which I wouldn't do, because I actually have a pretty good TV. But it was fine. Balor got caught interfering, so he got kicked out. We got a splash for 2. We got a dive. Jimmy hurt his knee. Pierce said, well, this is it. And then, not being a Huey Lewis and the News fan, basically, Sammy said, no, I'll take his place. Crowd's popping for Sammy. Rhea distracts. God, does she ever. Good grief, Rhea. And we get a choke slam for 2. Rhea keeps getting involved. We get a frog splash. That gets broken up. So it looks like, oh my God, maybe Sammy's actually going to be the one to take the pin, and it's going to be ultimate blame. But nope. They powderize Priest and hit the 1D. 1, 2, 3, and there you go. That's it right there. And it's basically going to lead to Sammy. They're going to do one of 2 things. They're going to pull a shock with Sammy winning the Royal Rumble, or Sammy's going to get laid out after that match with Roman. That being said, even with the Hogan segment, it was brief. It was what it was. They were hitting on all luau cylinders here. And then we got to JBL and Barry Corbin. Barry Corbin, that's what they were calling him. And Charles Wright, a.k.a. the Godfather, who apparently was monitoring and mediating and guarding and pimping. No, not pimping. He was guarding and bartending the poker game. And the poker game nonsense with all the roster. And, oh yeah, Ron Simmons was there also. Then we get older clip. Look, the raw older clip stuff. Stills, This Is Your Life. And here comes L.A. Knight. They're all talking about all these legends living on their past glory. Bray living on his past glory. I'm an American badass. It's Undertaker, who either couldn't get his bike started, his little tricycle, or maybe the bicycle or the motorcycle is as elderly as he is. I mean, and let's be perfectly honest, Undertaker hung on way too long to the goddamn point where he can barely move. And I don't blame him. He got paid millions, but I also don't have a lot of sympathy for the guy because he could have said no. So, right away, playing to the ring, noted phony redneck Kid Rock. That piece of shit. So anyway, apparently Taker's motorcycle was elderly because that thing, and I know it wasn't a long way to the ring, and I know he probably couldn't walk there, but good grief. LA Knight says, hey, I heard what you said on Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah, great. You want to talk about pieces of shit? Joe Rogan, there you go. That roided up moron. Talks about, I agree, I'm not soft like the people you talked about in the locker room. LA Knight deserves so much better than this is what I wrote down because I don't think that this had the intended effect that they thought it would. Bray shows up. Oh boy. And then Undertaker's gonna, choke slam LA Knight, but he throws him to Bray, and Bray lays him out. Then we get that stare down. Remember when they had that match at WrestleMania 31, it wasn't all that good because Bray had the bad ankle? And also because Undertaker's streak had ended just the year before, and if Bray had ended the streak, it would have meant so much more. Yeah. I don't know what this did for LA Knight. I mean, I know what they were intending to do, like, it wasn't as egregious as the Revival being destroyed by the Clique and DX, or just the Clique in general. But it still wasn't that great because, I'm sorry, the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. And I don't know when I'm doing my Rumble predictions, by the way. Either Wednesday or maybe I'll wait till just after SmackDown on Friday. It's still up in the air because they only have 5 matches announced as of now. Anyway, yeah, that was certainly a segment of having. Gable was playing poker. DDP and Alundra Blaze were there, a.k.a. Medusa. And the cage lowers, and we get entrances. Bayley's there with Damage Control versus Becky. It's a steel cage match, and it turns into an angle where Io and Dakota smash Becky. I wish Io would smash me, but that's another story for another day. 3-on-1 in the cage. The cage is bolted. They're beating the shit out of Becky. And they're doing all that, and sure, okay, it was a fine angle, but here's my thing. If you don't want to have a big cage match, don't book the cage match. Have it where it's going to be this big, Titanic clash. Maybe it's going to be a street fight or something, and they jumpstart and they do that, and then you build to a cage match where that way nobody can interfere. Because that's the whole point of his cage match. Even though cage matches have gotten to the point, Hell in a Cell matches have gotten to the point where anybody can interfere, you still could try to do something. They didn't do that, and I think this missed the mark. Apparently this, reportedly got cut because the previous couple segments went on way too goddamn long. Here's an idea. You could have cut some of this poker stuff. You could have cut a few other things, because you could have cut a few minutes off of the 6-man coming up. I just think you could have done something, and then you could have had Damage Control run in. If you had done, like, say, an 8 to 10 minute cage match and it had been an angle, and then you build up to something, okay, I don't know. It just seemed like, for all intents and purposes, they tried something that I don't think worked as well. Am I going to get as upset as everybody else? No, but am I disappointed they couldn't go out there? And this was a women's match that was pretty hyped between 2 premier workers that they have on the roster. Am I disappointed it got cut? Yeah, I kind of am. It just felt very much like something Vince would do. Anyway. So, yeah, there we go. More still shots. We got the Nation of Domination. It was Sting! And then Bedpan McMahon. DX responsible for the Attitude Era. Oh, that's adorable. That's adorable. Whatever helps you guys sleep at night. God, if only Road Dogg would permanently go to sleep. Nobody would miss him. So, I really wish the Bullet Bob was here instead of Road Dogg. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with Road Dogg if he didn't expose his whole goddamn ass, and it wasn't for the fact that the guy basically has gotten more chances than, people who have done far less, who have, pissed the company off far less. There are people that can't even get a phone call. Yet Road Dogg, who has trashed company and has exposed himself as being a goddamn moron in more ways than one, keeps getting chances. Proof that Triple H maybe should choose his friends a little bit better, but nevertheless. Shawn Michaels, I got to give him credit for this, because Shawn Michaels he was all gung-ho. DX was making a bunch of old jokes. Kurt was there because he always wanted to be a member of DX. And here's Imperium. Imperium is here to purify the ring in order to implement the final phase of their plan. And then DX making old jokes. Here's Seth, Pheasant, Rollins, whoa, 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 whoa. And Shawn Michaels, I gotta give him credit. He had one eye on Imperium and the other on Seth Rollins. And then, hey, wait a second. We gotta find a way to, like, make a match or whatever, but it can't be Seth, Pheasant, Rollins versus all of Imperium. Here's the Street Profits. And then here's Teddy Long to make a 6-man tag team match. Playa, holla, holla. And then Kurt Angle's the special guest referee. This went way too long. I mean, again, there were just some, and I know it's a 3-hour show, but it just, angles are one thing. It just felt like, an angle, pun intended, it just felt like some of this stuff got a little bit overdone. Speaking of overdone, the Pheasant Profits versus Imperium. Lawler was on commentary, so this is a wash automatically. I mean, nobody really would miss Lawler if he wasn't on WWE programming anymore. At this point, I just don't, he sounds off. He doesn't really need to be on there. We get a stomp on Vinci, 1, 2, 3. It was kind of cool that Angle and Gunther squared up. If only Kurt was in better shape. Even if he hadn't done all that shit to himself, even if his body was in better shape. Good God, if he took one chop from Gunther, that would have been it. And then we have DiBiase IRS doing stuff with the poker. DiBiase grifting people out of their money. Not just in Mississippi anymore. If you know, you know. And IRS, of course, taking his cut from taxes, taking his cut of the poker winnings or whatever. And they better pray that he doesn't take more next time. Now that everybody shut off the review, Ron Simmons comes in and says, damn. And then we get the Nexus. We get clips of the Nexus. They could have been a whole bunch better than they were, despite the future Ryback being involved. And Vince's limo explosion. Gee, I wonder what led to that story not being implemented at all. Oh, right. You know, Chris Benoit decided to, go nuts. And I'm not talking about grape nuts. I'm not talking about nuts.com. I'm not talking about any of that. No, he just decided to go insane. He decided to go home and be a family man. And then he wasn't a family man anymore because he didn't have a family. And then he wasn't there anymore. Moving on from that, Kathy Kelly, my goodness, oh good God, Triple H's best re-signing. Good grief, I love her. Lashley was interrupted by MVP, and hey, let's pop some champagne, let's do this. Lashley says, I want to handle my business. Bork's going to interrupt the business, because of course he is. Does Flair know where he's at? Nope, but he's Skin B. Brian Blair's cow. Here's Charlotte, baking potatoes in her outfit. And then she praises all the women that put her over, that kind of stuff, even praised the Bellas. Remember Nikki Bella having a 300-plus day Divas title run? And literally breaking her neck for it? And the Divas title was not all that great, even before that. Moving on. Here is Bianca. They go back and forth. Could we see that match at some point? Possibly at WrestleMania, but I doubt it, since both will probably be champions heading into it. Here's Sonya, who looks great. Incredible. Sonya's naturally beautiful, and a very good promo. And then she took on Bianca in a match that was fine. It was fine for what it is. Sonya's not awful in the ring, but her skills have kind of regressed. They're kind of where they're going to be. She hits a nice flash knee strike, that much I'll say. Bianca hits the KOD, 1, 2, 3, and then cuts a promo on Alexa, who, lo and behold, appears on the screen, and I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to see this stupid little pipsqueak on my television anymore, and I know she has fans, and that's fine. Be a fan of her. Cool. I don't wish ill upon her. I don't want to see this shit anymore. Oh, I'm the true face of evil. I'm going to eat your face off and rip your face off and do all this. And nobody believes you could do anything. You microscopic bitch. Then we get a Cody package. Same as it ever was. Manufactured. I like Cody. And he worked hard through that torn pec. And I can only imagine how much pain he was in. This is the same manufactured stuff that he was doing in AEW. He's half as good as his dad on his worst day. He's a very good athlete. He ain't his dad. And he ain't ever gonna be. So anyway, Across the Nation plays the best Raw theme in history, in my opinion. DX, poker, the beer truck, and a whole bunch of stuff. Here's Miz interrupting, wanting his moment. Owens comes out, stuns him, says he is going to destroy Roman Reigns. He's going to do everything he can, in his power get the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship away from Roman. He is going to keep fighting. He is going to win or die trying. There you go. Then the Rumble Rundown. And then we get Lashley versus Theory for the U.S. title. No DQ match. And basically, it was just Lashley and Theory having a match where weapons eventually got broken out. Tables got brought out. 6 minutes left. They went to commercial because the first hour was commercial free. Forgot to mention that. Back with 2.5 minutes left. We have 2 tables in the ring, a low blow. Theory gets put through a table, and then Bork's music hits. Do, 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 do. Boom! And he does that. Gets in the ring. F5's Lashley. F5's Theory on top of Lashley. 1, 2, 3. And then Corey's last line. What the? And they end because they were out of time. Good job. Good job managing your time. All that stuff with those legends, and that's the best you could do. It wasn't a boring show, I will say that much, but as far as anything that hyped you up for the Rumble, is anybody more hyped for the Rumble after watching this than they were before? No. It was a way to honor some legends, and Road Dogg, who could never be a legend even if he was the only member left of the Armstrong clan. But that being, he's the worst member of the Armstrong clan, but that being said, it was... Whatever. We'll see what happens at the Royal Rumble. We'll see you this weekend for the Royal Rumble. Agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.